This is my cousin Gianna, and she's going to be helping me today for my Snowman at Night lesson. She is in the 4th grade. She loves art, and she really wanted to help out. So we're going to get started. She's got her white pastel, and she is ready to go. The first thing that you need to do is you need to take your white pastel, and you are going to begin to make the snowman shape. So the snowman is going to be a series of 3 circles. You're first going to start with the head, and you can make it towards the left of your paper. I did mine a little bit more towards the side, just like that. And Gianna just copied what I did. Next, I'm going to start with the second half of the body, which is the middle part. And we've got the other half of our circle there. And then the third circle you're going to make is going to be a little bit bigger, because it's the bottom of the snowman. And you're just going to make it just like that. Now we're going to take the white pastel and you're going to make the snowy ground. I used a bit of curved lines to make my ground look like it's more of a hill. Gianna made hers more straight, but that is okay. Now you're going to take that same pastel and you're just going to shade in each of the 3 circles that you made for the snowman. Now that we are done shading in, we're just going to take our finger. I prefer to use my pointer finger, and we're just going to blend over everything that we did. So now we're just going to take our white pastel again, and this time we're going to shade our snowy ground. And then we are going to take our pointer finger and we're going to do the same thing again, smoothing over the pastel and blending it. At this point, I am allowing Gianna to use a blending tool, which kind of looks like a paintbrush. So when you smooth over it, it has the same effect as if you did it with your finger. So it really depends on your preference. I prefer to use my finger, but Gianna seems to like the paintbrush to blend. Now it is time to add some shadows. So you're going to take the darkest blue that you have in your pastel box, and you're going to begin with the top of the snowman, which is the head. So you're going to be going along each edge, and it's going to kind of look like we're making a half crescent moon. You're going to take your blue pastel, you're going to go along the edge of the top of the head, and you want to make sure that the blue pastel comes out far enough and you're drawing over the white. We want to make sure that you're not drawing on the background, but you're actually shading on that white pastel that you did before. And then you're going to begin with the second part of the snowman. The same thing that you just did, you're just going to take your pastel and you're going to go over it like it's a crescent moon. And I'm showing Gianna that she should add a little bit more to the side of hers, because then it will make it easier when we're blending. And then you just add it to the bottom. And now we're going to begin blending what we just did, that dark blue on top of the white. Gianna's using her blending tool, and I'm going to use my finger and just slowly go along the edge of each of the blue lines that we made. This way, it will appear as if there is a shadow on the edge of the snowman. Now you're going to take your dark blue pastel again, and we're going to make the shadow underneath the snowman. So I'm starting off by just making a line right underneath that bottom circle, and then I'm going to take that line back to the corner of the page. So just connect like so. Then I'm going to connect it from the other part, so it kind of looks like we're making a triangle that gets cut off on the bottom of the page. and you're just going to shade it in. Then you're going to do the same thing as before. You're just going to take your finger and you are going to blend over and smooth out that pastel so it does not have that rough appearance anymore, but it looks as if it is blended in like a shadow. Because the chalk pastel is so dusty, we need to pick up our paper and just carefully blow on the pastel so all of the dust goes away and we can continue with our project. Now it is time for Gianna and I to add some features to our snowman. We're picking up the black pastel and we are going to add coal eyes. Now, you can get very creative with this part, and my middle schoolers, I've talked to you about this before. It is all about adding what you want to the snowman. You don't have to make coal for eyes or for the mouth. You can really add anything you want, but we are just going to stick with the basic snowman with our coal eyes, our buttons, and our carrot nose. After doing your snowman, you're going to notice that your hands are super dirty with all of this different colored pastel on it, and you need to get rid of that in order to continue your background. So you're going to have to take a break and wash your hands and then come back. All right, Gianna, how you doing so far?
Good.
So now that our hands are nice and clean, we are ready to go with our background, and we're going to start with the moon. So you're going to pick the brightest yellow that you have out of your pastel box. And you are going to use this pastel to create the shape of the moon. Now, you can create the moon on the right side. I'm going to put mine a little bit more towards the center, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Now you can make the shape of the moon anything that you want. Gianna is deciding to go with more of a crescent moon look, and that is completely okay. And now you're going to repeat the same process that was done earlier. You're just going to shade in the moon completely, and then you're going to take your finger or your blending tool and smooth it all out. Now you're going to take the lightest blue that you have in your palette, and you're going to make a ring around the moon. So for Gianna's, I'm going to follow the shape that she made with the crescent moon. And what she is going to do is she is going to shade in that area. Now you are going to repeat the same exact process, only this time with a slightly darker blue. So you can pause this video to make sure that you have the right pastel color. And you are just going to make another ring around that lightest blue that you just did. And you're going to repeat the same process of shading it in and then blending it. Now you are going to take the next darkest blue in your pastel box, and you are going to make another ring around this ring that you just made. So this is where value really comes into play, and you're really looking at the lights and darks and making it start from, that lightest blue that you had around the moon, and then gradually the colors are getting darker. So you're going from light blue to dark blue. And you're just going to shade it in the same thing as you just did before, and then blend it. So the next color pastel that you're going to choose is the darkest blue out of the pastel box, which also happens to be that same blue that you used for the shadow of the snowman and on the shadow of the snow. And you're just going to start by making another ring. This one is going to go out a little bit further. You might find that it coincides with the snowman, but that is okay. You could just go around the snowman because it is the sky, so it will be behind him. And you're just going to do the same thing. You're going to shade it in and blend it. Now I'm going to add a different color to our night scene, and it is going to be purple because I really like the way that the purple works with the blues in the sky. So I'm just going to take that purple pastel and I'm going to go along the edge of the ring that we just made. And I'm just going to shade it in some. At this point, you are going to return to that dark blue that you just used to make that last outer rim, and you're just going to shade in the rest of the sky with that color. Now, if we had a darker blue, we would use that to create our last layer, but that is okay. We're just going to work with what we have. This blue is the same blue that you just used, and it's also the blue that was used for the shadow of the snowman and on the snow. And you're going to do the same thing. You're just going to shade in and you're going to blend it, this time all around the snowman. So now that you have completely blended in the sky and also washed your hands, because Gianna and I did take a break to do that, now you are going to create something on the right of your snowman. I'm going to create a winter tree. You can choose to copy me, or you can do whatever you want. You can make it a Christmas tree, you can make it a more snowy tree that has leaves on it. It is completely up to you, it is your preference. Gianna decided that she is also going to copy me and watch me make this winter tree. However, what you make, it doesn't have to be a tree. It could really be anything you want. Be creative and have fun with this part. So a snowy night would not be complete without actually adding snow. So you're going to take that same white pastel and you're going to start to make little dots and circles around the snowman, around the moon. You can really scatter them around anywhere you want. You don't have to make them just little circles. You could actually draw snowflakes if you want. I do have more pencils with a sharper point that you could use on this paper if you want to create snowflakes like that. But we definitely need to add a lot of snow around so it can get that effect that it is a snowy night. Now, in order to make it really appear as if the moon is reflecting onto the snowman, you're going to take that yellow pastel, same one that you used to create the moon, and you're just going to shade on the curve of the snowman on the right side on each part. So the bottom, the middle, and the top. And you're just going to blend it a little bit with your finger, and this will really give it that effect that the moon is glowing onto the snowman. Now we also need to add a shadow from the tree onto the snow, and this part is only if you did add a tree. So you're going to do the same thing that you did with the snowman with the shadow, only in the opposite direction. You're going to take the corner of each tree and just connect it back to the corner of the beaver. And you're going to shade it in and blend it. And the very, very last step of this project is just to clean up your pastel, shade over some color that has been blown away, just to make everything stand out more and appear more vibrant. Looks awesome, Jay. Thank you for being such a good partner.
Thanks for letting me help you.